Hello drawing class, I hope you guys are staying safe. Here we are again, gonna do another demo. We're gonna do the ink demo this time. So hopefully you guys are excited. There's a few steps that I need to show you. I wish I would have done this in class, obviously, or in the studio, but this is what we got. So here we go. So first of all, this is the ink that we're gonna be using. There's different kinds, but as long as it's India ink, okay, it's black. I think they do make it in different colors because you can even use this for calligraphy. But you know, for this purposes, we're gonna use it for drawing. Okay, so it comes with an eyedropper, and I've had this one for a while, but you know, you can see it dropped in ink. So this is what we're gonna get prepared. Okay. So we're gonna do 4 cups, and we're gonna create the value scale with these. Okay, more or less. Not if I mean I'm not gonna have 10 cups, but 4 would typically be good. Okay. So the way it's gonna work is white. This paper right here, white, is gonna be our white, and then we're gonna use the value scale from 1 or 0, 1. Then we're gonna go maybe 2, 4, and then maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 10. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get some water. Okay, guys, this is just my average water. So we're gonna pour. Just to let you know that this is gonna be like a watercolor, but it's not watercolor. Okay, it's gonna be ink. So we're gonna put more water here, and then less water here. We're gonna put maybe, let me pour it in here. This is gonna be our light, middle grays, and dark. Okay, so we're gonna put maybe like, I don't know, let's start off right there. Okay, so right now it's about right here. Okay, then we're gonna do the same here, maybe a little bit less, maybe right there. Okay, don't have exact measurements. Don't worry about, you know, getting a cup, measuring cup, and trying to measure this out. It's all just feel. So this one is gonna have less because I'm getting darker. Okay, you can see. And then this one's gonna have even less. Right there. You see that? If you can. Okay. So we're good. Let me pour a little bit more on this. Okay. So just to let you know, let's see, let me put this out of the way. And I think I have a marker. No. So for the purposes of the, is it going? Is it going? Oh, okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So for the purposes of the demo, I'm gonna label these cups just so you guys can see. Okay, so this one has almost no water, so like little low water. Okay, this one has probably like middle water, and this one's about the same thing, middle water. And then this one here has more water, which is almost like maybe about right there. Okay, so it has higher water. I don't know what to call it, but you get the idea. Okay, so this one's about right there. Just to let you know, you don't have to measure it. You don't have to. It's whatever you want. So this is about right here. It's about the same, but this one's about right here, water-wise level, and this one is about right here. Okay, so hopefully you guys get the idea. Now we're gonna dip. Okay, so we're gonna get drops, and we're gonna put maybe 2 drops. Okay, one. Put it at 1. That's already pretty dark. Okay, so now I'm gonna get me. Don't. I got a plastic spoon. You guys can use anything. Okay, that might be too dark. Let me see. I don't want to put it right on the table. All right, let me see. So you're gonna get the I got this stick to draw with, I just got it from outside. Some of you guys mentioned I might not have a stick in my bag. That's fine. So I just grabbed a small little branch. And what I did is I used this sander that we have in our packs, and I just, you know, did the best that I can. I cut the tip off to flat here, and I just went like this just to make it smoother, so I can write with it or draw with it. Okay, so this is where we're gonna do it. So I put that in there, and I want to see what one drop of water kind of mark it makes. Okay, so that's pretty dark, and that's just with one drop. Okay, so let's see. These are gonna be really dark, so let me move this down. Okay. So this is mid. Let me make this the high one. Let me put more water in this one. It's all trial and error, guys. So once you get this down, then let's see. So since I started off with this one, trying to be the lighter one, I'm gonna move it because it's pretty dark. You guys can see that it's pretty dark. So what I'm gonna try to do, instead of putting droplets in there, I'm just gonna try to put some of this ink in there. Try to stain this water. Okay. Try to do it some more. You guys can see this. Let's get a little colored. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, now let me see. More. A little bit more. Let's see with the spoon. Okay. So I got a little bit on this spoon here. I just need a little bit. I don't want to... That was just one drop. So I'm kind of iffy about using it again. But let me just see if I could just... I'm not squirting. I'm just going to try to tap it in there. There. See that? Can you see that? Okay, now let me try to mix that up. It's a little better. It's not as dark as that. I can still see the bottom. The bottom of the cup. So we're going to deal with that. You see that? Okay? That works. So that's going to be our lighter. This is our darker. Now we're going to go to darker. Okay? This one has less water. And this one has almost no water. You can imagine what this one is. So now I'm going to put one drop. And I'm going to put one more. 2 drops. Okay? Let's see what that does. Okay. Still needs to be darker. So I'm going to put more drops. I'm going to put 2 more drops. Right there. Okay. Now this is going down towards the lower end of the value scale. Remember, it still needs to go darker. Okay. Now I just put a few more drops in there because I need it darker. This one's dark. If I have to, I'll just switch sides. That's the way it works. It's still not as dark as this one. Or maybe not anymore. Let's see. A little bit of my dark. It is dark. It's darker than that one now. Let's see. We got this one. Got this one. Went away. Let's see. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Trying to put more ink in here because I want it to be darker. It's getting there. More. Okay. There we go. Mix it up. And something to take note, as it dries, if it dries, you can always put over it and it'll make it darker. So now let's make this one dark. I'm gonna put a lot in this one. A whole eyedropper. More. with less water. And you can always just use this, okay? Now that's dark. You see that? Okay? So let's try this again. So I got the light one here. Then hopefully this one's a different shade. And this one, a darker shade. And then this one, my dark shade. You can see. This one's still a little bit too light for me, so I'm gonna add another one. Okay. Alright. Let me put a little bit more. I want it a little darker. Okay. Alright, let's see. Now the problem with ink is that if you put it over this paper a lot, it'll go through it, it'll tear it apart. Alright, let me see this one here. Still needs to be darker. We'll get it, we'll get it. Alright. It's about there. And then we got our darkest here. And then don't forget that darker than that, it's gonna be just the eyedropper straight on. Okay? Like that. So you guys can see that. I still don't like these two. But let's just try it. Okay? So let me cut right there. So okay guys, so I wanted to show you how to prepare the ink for our still life, and so let's do this. Remember, 4 cups, different levels of water. The more water you have on your cups, the lighter it's gonna be. The lesser water you have, then the darker it's gonna be. Okay, so let's turn the page. Okay, so let me move these out of the way. Do not get lost. You can mark your cup if you want to. So let's turn the page. Now I'm going to show you. See what happens? It bleeds through because this paper is not designed to hold wet surfaces like that. It's charcoal paper or drawing paper, but we're just going to use it anyway. Okay. So here I am. I got my. I'm going to put them to my left. Okay. And I am going to draw just this little tower, maybe with this feather right here. Okay. Let's see. I'll put it right there, I think. Okay. So guys, I do not like to work flat when I draw, and I already told you because of the angle that you get. It looks like that when you draw, you know, because we're standing up overlooking at it. But for the ink drawing, it has to be done flat, because if not, then it's all going to start running. It's watery. So make sure that you have it flat surface, and your still life. And so the way we're going to draw is, normally we draw from dark to light. And so after spring break, we've been investigating how to see objects from light to dark versus from dark to light. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to draw this. Can you see this also? I'm going to make an image of this and this. But I'm going to do it with the light part here. Okay? So I'm just going to dip it. And it's going to be a quick gestural drawing. Alright? Just to make mark. And this is just a stick. Remember that the white of the paper is your light. Okay? I haven't even dipped it again. I'm still using the same the same ink source, the same water. Okay. I'm just carrying it out until I'm just laying something down. Okay. Now it's starting to go away, dry up, but I'm still pushing because I am just laying out. Maybe you guys will like this better than charcoal. Now the thing with this ink is that you cannot use a blur or blender to make values. It has to be this way. Let the water run out and you get lighter value. So at this point here, I have 4 cups, but I can still achieve different values from these 4 cups because like this, I'm letting it dry out. You can have a separate sheet of paper where you can just, you know, just use your mark or use space where you can create lesser values or lighter values in your compositions. Okay. So now I have basically a nice little contour drawing. I'm still just making mark. Right there. Okay. So I got a pretty good start right there. I can see where my still life is in contrast to the drawing here. So now what I can do is if I see some areas that have a little bit of tint to them or a little bit of value, darker value, I can apply that right now. The thing with this, with ink, is that you have to work this way. You cannot work this way. It has to be from light to dark. When you get to the darks, it should be after you've made all the decisions in your composition and you're ready just to put in the darks. You can't undo darks. You can put lights, but you cannot undo the darks. They're very dominant, opaque, so you can't undo them. So for now, I got some of this. That's gonna add a little bit of value to areas since I have the light, and you know, it's kind of like painting or like drawing mechanically, but not necessarily, because you can get some really nice expressions out of this. If you remember that drawing that I showed you in class that I had found on Instagram, and it had like all these, I asked you guys what you thought about this drawing. Somebody said it was messy. Somebody else, you know, said that it was something. But they did this. I could tell they did it with ink on that woman figure who was laid over. If you get a stick, guys, from outside, make sure it doesn't have any ants. Roly-polies. I have a bunch of roly-polies. As you can see, I'm using different values. There we go. You see? Okay. So here, I see this value here, so I'm just going to add it. Now, if you want to expedite the drawing process of this, because if, you know, I'm not going to do it, but if the more layers you add over it, the darker it gets. And the way to do that is to use a hair dryer. You can just like get to this level, like I feel like doing that right now, but you know, I'm not going to do it. But you can get a hair dryer and just, you know, dry it off, and then do the same thing in other areas with the same cup, and it'll create darker values. Okay, because it's just overlapping layering. That's what it is. So let me try that again. If I put it while it's wet right now, it's just gonna, you know, tear the paper up, which is kind of doing it right there. All right, so let's continue. Let me create an atmosphere real quick, a background with this. It doesn't look like much. I see it already, but you know, we're working from light to dark. So in my mind, I'm already thinking of other values that are in there that I'm ready to put, but I have to get these done in there first. I don't like that idea of working in steps, but for ink, it kind of feels that way, and that's the kind of like the process we're gonna do. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the next value. Now I'm gonna look at my still life and just look. I got a pretty good contour drawing here with the feather, and so now I'm gonna go with the next one. Okay. I see the darker here. Oops, I jacked it up. Let me just smear it. I got a little way with it. If you make mistakes like I did, that's fine. Just smear them off. There. Okay, let's try that again. So I'm just gonna put some different values as I see them. Now I'm not saying to contour the thing again. Just look at your still life and put where you see it. And this is where I see my different values. Okay? We're gonna get these blobs here because of the paper. An ideal paper for this would probably be like Yupo or Bristle. Okay. Again, if you just keep using the same dip, it'll start to wear off, and you can create some different values. I see a different one here. The feather is okay. Here at the corner, right here. And to be honest, I don't know exactly what I'm drawing, but I'm just looking at the values and I see them there. And like I mentioned before, if you just look at what you're drawing and study it, the still life will come out on its own. Now it is a little different using ink. I've used it before. I don't practice. I don't use it in my practice right now in my research, but I've used it a ton of times um, in undergrad studies, and so I'm familiar with it, obviously. But the reason I mentioned that is because I'm not a, I like the ink. Maybe you guys will like it also. You see? Okay. That noise that you hear was my cat falling off the balcony. Now you guys can see. Now remember that I said during the semester that the line has to belong to something. So right now I see this darker value on the table that I'm using, so I'm applying that right now. And it's making this other stuff come out without the use of a of a masking. And the I'm pulling it off that way, okay? Now I am focusing on the negative space, okay? Now you might want to ask me, can I use a brush? Let's not use a brush right now. The answer, yeah, if you want to use a brush, but you're going to get a painting out of it, okay? Right now we're trying to get a drawing. And in drawing, if you guys can recognize that in almost in all the things that we use for drawing, they're very stiff, hard. They make mark, a stiff mark. And so that's kind of like that's the idea I want you guys to have and to experiment with and explore with this idea of using the stiff stick. Later on, you know, if you guys want to, not for the sake of the assignment, I know you guys can use a brush, but again, that's watercolor, that's going back to painting. And you guys know I love painting. Now try to avoid some of these marks. Like for example, like this one. I'm looking at my still life and I don't see this mark, but the stick is making it. That edge right there. Don't leave stuff like that because that edge implies something. I want this edge, I want this edge, but not this one. So I just rub it out. Don't give me hard edges because that's one thing that the stick will do is give you a hard edge. And just try to smooth it out as much as you can. Try to take it away without, you know, destroying your paper. But it's very distracting because for me the hard edge represents something. Okay, so now let's work on this feather with the same value. Let's see. Here's this edge here. Which one's that? Okay. And then we're gonna just bleed it off. And then we're gonna move it out. Okay. Now, I did make, see I'm losing this right now. I made a mistake. So on my still life, this stem of the feather is completely a different value. And I just darkened it and I made it. I wasn't observing that well. Alright, so let me try to fix it. I can't undo that one, but maybe I can just try to, you see that? See, that's the way the stem is. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is bad right here. You see this blob for what I wanted to do. And I'm glad that these things are happening, so you guys can experiment with it. I'm just gonna smear it off. Okay. And you can use a paper towel if you guys want to dab. Try to remove some of that stuff. Okay. This is another way that you can expedite the drying process is just by dabbing. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the next cup. Okay, you can see that that we got a different range of values. They're not precise like charcoal does. This is more like a gestural approach to drawing, a way of expression. But let's go ahead and put this other cup on the darker end. Okay, so let's see. Let me get a little test one, see where it's at. Okay. I'll try to make this mark here. Kinda has this little dip. Okay. So it's a little darker. Alright. This is one that I had a problem with. Not the other one. Okay. I want to make that stem white, so I have to work around it on the negative side of it and then push off of it. Okay. There you go. Okay. Alright, so this is some areas that look pretty bad, so let me try to work on those with this one. Alright. Okay. And again, if you want to go lighter or you can use the paper towel. Okay, you see? Suck up some of that water and it still leaves a little the stain there. Alright. So now we're gonna go into the darker one, which is this one. Pretty dark. So once I start making this mark, there's no going back. So I see some immediate marks here. I'm gonna use this so I can let it dry a little bit. Let me go back. Take that off. Try to make that darker. In value, not in line. I'm trying to make this darker in value. Now if you guys can see these little, this is paper coming off. Alright, so that means I'm using too much of it. It's wet. And so I need to back off of it, let it dry, and then try to come back on there. But for the sake of the demo, let's just go ahead and go to the next one, okay? So I see some mark here. It's wet, so that's why it's doing that, but if it were dry, oops, stick came off. It would just be making mark, okay? And I'm using the edge of my stick to get line. Okay. Go back again. Now here on these parts, since this is ink, use the contour techniques that we learned in the beginning of the semester. Thicker lines has more weight. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Make a thicker line to convey the weight. So when you're going into these darker tones that I'm doing now, when you dip your stick into the cup, make a mark, because there's always going to be a part that's going to want to drip. You don't want it to drip in here, so just make a mark and then you can move from there. Okay. All right. Let's see if I could get this. So let's see where else I see a little bit here. Okay, a little bit here. And then see it here. Okay, so now we're gonna do this last part right here, which is the feather. Okay, so this feather, I see it, so I'm just gonna start making mark. I'm gonna make that line real quick and push off of that. Okay, I'm gonna pull this. Put some more. Alright. Now on the feather, it's getting lighter towards the bottom of the stem, so I'm just going to try to do that with the ink that remains on the stick. Maybe not. I don't think I can get to that part yet. Let me try to do it. There we go. Okay, now let's do the other side. The other side is pretty simple. It's just the side. Pull off some right here. Okay. Okay. Try that again. Ah, did it again. Okay. Alright guys, so there's the feather. I'll just try to add a little bit here. Okay. Now for the last cup, or it's not even the cup, it's the actual make it a little bit. It's the actual so now we're just gonna do this real quick, and I'm gonna use the eyedropper straight as the mark. Okay, like that, or you could use a stick. We're just gonna make some quick mark here. Okay. I'm low on this ink. You don't want to put all this value all over, because then you're just coloring, so I'm just gonna leave it there. And that's a demo of the ink, guys, and it's not a great proportion, but at least you get the idea. Remember the cups, and then start from light to dark. If you guys have questions, feel free to email me, call me, or whatever you need to do. I can see areas where it does need work, but that's just an idea of it. But yeah, so guys, hopefully you guys enjoy the ink. I'll send out the assignments in detail, and I got some mistakes here with that, so be careful with that. You see that right there, so I could just fix that up kind of over here too. But practice around with it. Hopefully you guys have fun with it, and yeah, check in with me.